mercies that are new every morning. Over me, over us. Father, we pray that as we have our service, that you would still be honored despite all of our shortcomings. So we thank you. We dedicate this time to you. May you receive all the glory and all the honor and all the praise. Pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. give you my soul. I live for you, oh Lord, and every breath I take, every moment I'm awake. Lord, have your way in me.
Good morning. So this morning I want to spend some time talking about one of my favorite people in the Bible. But before we get into it, let's read the main passage for today. It's Luke 10, 38 to 42. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparation that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you're worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." So a while back, during one of the young adults gathering, we were playing an icebreaker game, and one of the questions we had to answer was choosing a person in the Bible we would like to spend the day with, besides Jesus. This question really makes me happy, because just thinking about meeting people from the Bible in person makes my heart flutter. I feel dorky to admit that, but how amazing would it be to see and talk to Abraham, Sarah, Moses, Paul, and so on. There are so many people I would love to meet, but my heart went straight to Mary of Bethany. I was drawn to her pure love and devotion for Jesus. Just imagine you're having a conversation with Mary of Bethany about Jesus, to hear of her love for him and his love for her. So this morning I was relieved because God placed something in my heart to talk about, and thrilled and filled with joy that I was led to talk about Mary of Bethany. So it's actually a really random question, but my friends would ask, "Jennifer, is your desire to sleep greater, or is your desire to eat greater?" And then we would just go around answering and saying what is more important than the other, and surprisingly, it becomes a heated debate. But my answer would always be that sleep is more important. It is a bit easier for me to give up food than sleep. When I'm tired, I don't think about anything else. My default reaction is just go to sleep. And if I were to make an argument to win over your hearts to say that sleep is more important, I will throw it out there that lack of sleep makes you really inefficient. Anyways, and then also statistics show that not getting enough sleep can have the same effect as drinking alcohol. So you might be wondering why I had to bring all this up. It was a wordy way to say we're all more resistant to yield to God when it comes to certain things, and for me, it was sleep. So before COVID-19, I woke up around 5:30, depending on if I wanted breakfast to get to work by 7 a.m. So I actually felt quite productive. But since COVID, my hours shifted, and I needed to be at work at 8. And believe me, that extra hour meant a lot to me. But instead of being more productive with the extra time, I started sleeping in, and I just felt so guilty. My dad and my brother were still going into work early, and my mom was attending the early morning services online every morning, so when I woke up, I would hear my mom praying downstairs. Imagine how lazy and guilty I must have felt as I went downstairs. So being conscious about others around me and wanting to be productive, I decided to look after my health by exercising. So I used to jog every morning, and I think that lasted about a couple months. But to be honest, deep down, I still felt discomfort. Because yes, maybe from the outer appearance, I'm doing something productive and good, but my spirit wasn't at ease because I wasn't doing what God placed in my heart. I simply looked the other way, silencing the small voice in my heart. As the church gradually opened, my life felt more normal. I was back to my routine, work, home, church lifestyle. I thought since church was part of my life again, the dissatisfaction and the discomfort I felt in my heart would be gone. But I actually did not, because it came from a place of not spending more personal one-on-one time with God. I knew this was the problem that God wanted to address with me, but I wasn't motivated. I didn't really want to listen, and I didn't really want to obey and to take the steps that He was asking me to take. I mentioned earlier that certain things are harder to lay down, but if there is one thing God has taught me repeatedly, is that He knows we are weak. He knows, and He patiently walks us through it so that we can eventually lay down the things that are stopping us from getting closer to Him. The thing we hold on to because it's comfortable to us. In my case, sleep. At first, God wasn't saying, Jennifer, you need to spend early mornings with me. He was simply saying, Jennifer, you need to spend more time with me. But I always had excuses. The biggest one I would use was, God, if you look at my schedule, I don't have a set time I can spend with you. Or if I have a set time, then it would have to be late at night and I won't get enough sleep. In my mind, even as I was giving God excuses, I knew how foolish I sounded. Because I kind of already had a solution for both excuses, which was attending the early morning services during the week before going into work. But I didn't want to say them out loud because that would mean I have to give up sleeping or exercising in the morning, which I actually grew to like. I knew deep down that I would probably start going to early morning services, that I should probably start going to early morning services, but I was so spiritually dry at that point, I didn't want to give up a single thing for God. I became more important, and my needs and my comfort became more essential than Him. I think that was my reality check. I saw where my heart was with God, and it was a very hard thing for me to swallow. It alarmed me, and I think that's what led me to finally say to myself, this isn't where I want to be with God, and something needs to change. I need to change. And without giving much thought, I decided to do it. I decided to attend early morning services, and I didn't give myself a lot of time to sit around to think about the details, because if I did, I would have talked myself out of it. Deciding to do it was the hard part, After I made the decision, I felt lighthearted, like a burden was lifted, because I finally obeyed and accepted his invitation to spend more time together. I remember the first day as I was driving to church. I was really thankful to be awake. I was really awake. My mind was clear, and what took me by surprise was the excitement and joy I felt in my heart as I was on my way to see God. Also, since the first day, my mom has been making coffee for me to take as a way of supporting me and cheering for me. And I was thankful for her love, and I was so happy because coffee was sweet. So perfect. And I was hoping that my time with God would be just as sweet. If I think back to it now, I think I was actually feeling the excitement and joy in his heart as he watched me come to spend time with him. And thankfully, the Lord went beyond my imagination, and he continued to lead our time together deeper and sweeter. As time passed, I think I developed a routine with God. I would start the morning listening to the message of the day through the pastors. Then I would spend some time to pray, and then I would finish with QT and reading the Bible according to the church Bible reading schedule. So when I finish reading the Bible, the clock hits 7:50, and I can leave the church and make it almost in time at the office. Honestly, I have not noticed any significant change in my life. I did notice simple changes before, and I was like, wow, I have a lot of gratitude. Wow, I have a lot of joy. Wow, why am I so happy? And I simply concluded by saying, Jesus, it is you. And this is what strengthened me to keep going. However, as I sat down before God to organize my thoughts for today, I realized that his ways are higher, and he was working in greater capacity over my life. As he began revealing them one by one, I felt weighed down, just drenched in his grace and love. How can we not be in love with our Father? As it is mentioned in Ephesians, I recognized that the Lord was strengthening my inner man during this time. Last time I spoke, I shared a bit about a person who made my life difficult, and what stressed me out was it was someone I work with, so I saw this person 5 days a week. This person was good at frustrating you or hurting you with words, and so often I crashed and had arguments here and there, and that made me feel even worse about myself for allowing myself to get caught up in that. Through this person, I realized how weak I am over and over again. Hate is a strong word, but that might have been the closest word to describe my feeling toward this person. Therefore, I simply made the decision to avoid this person. I tried my best to make situations where I wouldn't need to work with this person or have a conversation with this person. Simply put, I was hoping we would be invisible to each other. But as I sat to organize my thoughts, he showed me how my heart for this person shifted from bitterness and hatred to compassion. As he reminded me of the first time I genuinely prayed for this person's salvation, for this person to encounter God's love, because in that moment I felt God's heart and how much he deeply and desperately wanted to save this person. And since then, this person has been in my prayers, and I started to see this person as the one God loves. And it didn't require any strength on my part because it was all Jesus. What I mean by this is as I spent more time with Jesus every day, my heart became more and more like his heart. It's like if we spend a lot of time with someone, like our friends and family, we start to notice that we're similar in many ways, in the way we talk or in the ways we think, and we start resembling one another. And it felt like during this time, he was really shifting my heart to be more like his. That's not all. As I spent more time with God, he has blessed me by revealing his beauty and holiness, restoring not only joy and relationships in my life but worship. Let's recap. In the verse we read in the beginning, we see Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus, hearing his word. And Martha distracted by all the preparation that had to be made for Jesus. Martha, who was doing this all alone, got upset and came and spoke to Jesus about it, and he defended Mary by saying, "She has chosen what is better." As I was meditating on this passage, out of curiosity, and because I wanted to learn from Mary, I began to ask God, so didn't Mary sense her sister's frustration? Didn't Mary see how busy Martha was with all the preparation? But how can she be so unwavering in her choice to be close to you? I genuinely wanted to know because a weakness God has been highlighting for me lately is my fear of people. I worry too much about how others perceive me, and I worry about being burdensome or unhelpful, as if I'm not contributing enough or doing well depending on my position. I learned that I am scared to be judged negatively and so on. I sometimes worry too much about people that I lose sight of God, and when I do, fear increases. So I asked and waited on him. So I don't know how quickly God responds to all of you, but for me, certain questions require more struggle before him, and for some reason, this was one of those questions. But thankfully, he didn't keep me waiting for a long time. He began to remind me. Instead, he began to remind me of moments I did something that I either thought I could never do, even if I wanted to, because it's not in my character, or because it made me embarrassed. And being the visual person I am, I started to reflect on those moments he was bringing up. Moments like the first time I cried out, Jesus, just calling on his name. Moments when I couldn't keep still and had to jump up and down as I worshiped. When I reached out to share the gospel and share God's heart when I could. And when I couldn't stop crying, even when I wanted to, because I didn't have tissues in my nose. I won't go into details about that. Anyways, and at the end of it all, he asked me, Jennifer, in these moments, did you think about anything or anyone around you beside me? And it became so clear to me that when we are so lost, captivated by the presence of God, when we are gazing at his beauty and his holiness, everything quiets down and nothing else matters. We don't see anything but him. We don't hear anything but his voice, and all we sense is love and tenderness as he expresses how much he adores us and how pleased he is with us. God taught me that this is the heart of worship he's looking for, and Mary made the choice to sit by Jesus and saw his beauty, and she was in awe of him, so lost in his presence. And all I could say at the end of this was, yes, Jesus, show me who you are. Show me your beauty. I want more. Our God, he is so faithful. He hears, and since then, I've been blessed to see his beauty. When I first committed myself to early morning services, I thought deep down it was a sacrifice I was making before God, but I was wrong. I'm simply blessed. And I receive more than I can ask for. That my cup overflows. To be honest, if I am to make a confession, during many of the early morning services, I doze off as I pray because I'm physically so tired. So I know that it is God's grace that sustains me and strengthens me. A lot of my friends would often ask me, out of pure curiosity, what I do for fun. Some of my friends who are not Christians would often ask why I would sacrifice so much of my time and energy on religion. So in certain moments, I did question myself, and I did turn my face to seek pleasure that are not from God. But through all the trials and error, I can now say with confidence, from the bottom of my heart that I have found that I have not found anything else more satisfying than spending time with Jesus in all of his beauty. So thank you so much for listening. So before we go into prayer, can we sing the worship songs together to just open our hearts to just pray? Any song? This morning that he will show us his beauty. So let's all pray together. lose track of time, just in your presence, just gazing at you. That is what we want. That is the only thing we want, Jesus. So would you open our eyes, open our hearts, so that we may see, who you are. Jesus, we want more. We just want more of you. So just help us. Just help us. Jesus, strengthen us.
Worships that are going to happen during OF today, as well as the ICC worships that's going to go on tomorrow. Just bless us so that we may be able to see you, that we may be able to love you, and just know your love for us. So I ask that you would come and be with us. Thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Overflow, Lord,